real challenge of it was that, the work-life balance, that line simply stopped existing.
I feel like I grew a lot in learning about virtual event platforms, planning ahead on programming, but knowing that what we were planning with the topics could totally change because it was so hard to plan in 2020.
Not having to commute 2.5 hours a day was definitely a good thing. New Jersey Transit had not been operating at peak performance prior to the pandemic. The bittersweet part of it is that I haven't been able to see my work colleagues in person for 10 months, and I miss some of those water cooler conversations and with certain individuals, you know who you are.
My first assignment was to write the daily coronavirus briefing. It's definitely the most intense thing I've ever written.
Everybody knew that healthcare was central to our lives before this, but if nothing else, over the last 9 months, let us know exactly how central healthcare was.
I lost a good friend a few weeks ago, unfortunately to COVID. My wife lost her medical partner to complications of COVID, so it's hit us hard, it's hit our community hard. We don't always know what the bigger picture is, but there is one, and we'll get through this.
The early days of the pandemic, both of my parents tested positive. My mom had no symptoms, but my father was good and sick for about 5 or 6 weeks. There were moments, where I'd be speaking with my father and he said he'd be feeling terrible, and then he'd turn around and be like, however, I don't have any lung involvement, I don't have any fever, I'm not going to the hospital, I'm going to be okay. So I think his attitude really helped pull everybody through.
Through daily walks, we have been able to talk to neighbors over the fence, meet new dogs, talk to children, and we as a neighborhood have really come together to help out our local food pantry as well. So that has been something that's been very heartening for all of us.
Reconnecting with friends that live in other countries. I never had really taken the time to master Zoom and Skype. I also actually virtually learned Italian. I only have a few key phrases down so far other than the curse words that my grandfather had taught me.
Being able to be home for a few months this summer in Michigan to be there for the birth of my niece. Usually I'm working in the city and just get a little bit of time few and far between with my family on a quick vacation. So I think to have some more relaxed quality time with them was also a silver lining.
I feel like for every silver lining, there's an opposite of a silver lining. I don't know what that would be called.
I think just some more valuable connections with other people, hugging a friend I haven't seen in a while, just a small group dinner, live music, some more face-to-face connection.
That we see a speedy end to this pandemic and that we can put it in the rearview mirror once and for all.
I'm looking forward to some live music. I'm looking forward to being in bars, being in restaurants, fantasy football drafts. Community is the one thing that needs to return for all of us to feel whole again. And I'm very optimistic that in 2021, we will get that. And that was my 2020.
That was my 2020.
That was my 2020.
That was my 2020.
Felici Anno Nuovo. Happy holidays, everybody.
My best wishes to everyone for a happy, healthy, together 2021.